Today we're going to talk about how to manifest the way Nikola Tesla did. I know this sounds really clickbaity, and it's a rare technique video from me. If you've been watching my videos for a while, you know I don't talk about technique too much. I prefer basic principles and understanding how things work, the laws of nature, the laws of the universe, and forging your own path. But I want to talk about this today because I find it really fascinating and it's resonated with me. My name is Ricardo, and I've been studying and practicing the occult for the past 5 years. All right, so I've read a lot of books lately that reference Nikola Tesla and the way he essentially manifested his inventions. So supposedly what he did was he would go into his mind, like his mind palace, and he would construct his inventions piece by piece to test if they would work before actually building them on the physical plane. And first off, this is just a fascinating concept to me because it shows that he had such a disciplined mind, such a creative mind, and he was so intuitive that constructing something so complex in his mind would actually behave the way you would expect it to behave within the laws of the physical world around us, right? That's kind of crazy. And my first thought was, that seems really difficult because I feel that if I tried to do that, there would be no continuity. Like I would place a couple of cogs today and then come back to it tomorrow and it would just be a completely different scene and I'd have no control over it. And this is why I want to talk about it, because that assumption was completely incorrect. This, for me, at the moment, was far easier and resonated more than I ever would have expected. So this is not dissimilar to certain techniques talked about in this book here, the Silva Mind Control Method. If you haven't heard of it, I recommend this to really anyone, especially if you want a clear step-by-step, just instructional, do this, and this, which I know is very opposite to how I talk a lot of the time because I like, grandiose, grand principles and, you know what I'm talking about. But if you prefer a more structured, step-by-step, agnostic approach to training your mind and manifestation and improving your memory and just becoming a better human being, this book is fantastic. Okay, so let's come back to this technique. And it's been mirrored in a lot of things I've read over the past few years. There's also this idea of the alchemist laboratory, where you set up a space in your mind that's like sacred. It's your workshop. And the details are fixed. It's just somewhere you go to be mentally creative. And again, it's worked really well for me. It's resonated tremendously for me. So the idea is you close your eyes, and you can do this with me right now. So I want you to close your eyes. And I want you to picture a space that is creative but unstimulating. It's safe, but you're not even thinking about safety. It's not safe in the way that a building might be safe with dangers outside. It's safe because there is no such thing as danger. It can look however you want. Mine looks like a big rustic wooden table with a dark library surrounding it. Bookshelves on every wall. It's interesting. It's an interesting space, but it's not stimulating. I don't stand there and go, oh, wow, that's exciting, or, this can distract me, or it is just there to do what I need it to do. So then I can set my intent on the table, whether that's building piece by piece a money printing machine or building brick by brick my dream home, whatever it is, whatever you want, whatever you need. And we can stray into anything, really. It doesn't have to be building physical things. We can create circumstances. We can improve ourselves. We can work on our own bodies. We can heal parts of ourselves. We can make ourselves stronger, more resilient, more flexible. We can make ourselves taller. We can construct the type of people we might want in our lives. Family, friends, lovers, whatever. And the beauty of this truly is my favorite part of this concept, is that you have set the intent that this is your sacred space, this is your workshop. And such, everything is automatically saved there. You don't have to worry about it. You don't have to try to conjure up the details of where did I leave off? No, it's already there because you've set the intent for the space. So that means that when I construct my money printing machine, I come back the next day and it's right where I left it. In fact, more often than not, I've found that it's duplicated itself or it's gotten bigger without me having to try. So when we talk about visualization and training your mind, I think a lot of people have trouble with being consistent. They get distracted easily. And there's certainly a path you can take that's just discipline. And there's nothing wrong with that. There's a lot of people on YouTube that talk about discipline, and I think it's great. And if it works for you, that's fantastic. This, to me, doesn't require discipline because I've set the rules for the space. The space is there to keep track of what I'm working on. And as such, it requires no discipline, no effort to keep it consistent. And I can tell you that has been my issue in the past with just pure visualization, sitting there and picturing myself in the scene that I want, Because I know people have trouble with that. And I don't believe in banging your head against the wall when something isn't resonating. Because we've been fed this lie of hard work. This doesn't mean that you adopt laziness or you don't try. It's the grind we want to get rid of. Because the grind is inefficient. If we have multiple paths to our goal, potentially infinite paths, really, then why would we keep grinding away at one of the hardest ones just because we've been told that's how you do it? Find the path of least resistance. The creative path. And you've probably heard this before. A lot of people talk about this. A lot of channelers talk about this. Is finding, what do they call it? I think everyone calls it something different, but it's the idea of finding what ignites you, what inspires you, and going hard into that. And that's your hard work. You find your path of least resistance and you apply your effort, your hard work, your attention to that path of least resistance, that act of inspiration. So this technique works very well for me. So the technique itself is my path of least resistance. And within the technique, I found my path of least resistance. You know what I mean? So give this a try. Maybe it doesn't work for you. Maybe it does. If it doesn't, I still want you to hold in your mind the idea of finding that creative path of least resistance and applying your effort there. Figure out what you're good at. And this is, I think this is just good advice, man, for everyone. It's great career advice. Figure out what you're good at. what you enjoy, and work on it. Because I know there's many of you out there who listen to the most popular techniques and advice about manifestation, and I remind you, none of it is wrong. It just might not be the most efficient option for you or me. I know a lot of people listen to the most popular advice and they get stuck in the idea that this is the only way. And if they can't do it, they must be doing something wrong. Maybe you just think differently. We're not all perfect carbon copy automatons of each other. Our brains don't think in the same way. If they did, there'd be no point to any of us, right? The point of us is diversity of experience. It's so that we can return to the source with unique experiences. If we all have the same experience, if we all think the same way, there would be no point to that. Then there should only be one of us. But there's not. There's billions that we know of on this planet. Okay, so I want you to let me know once you've tried this, if it resonates with you in the comments, and I want you to share some other techniques that you've tried that resonate with you that maybe aren't so obvious and mainstream. Even if they are mainstream, throw them in there, because you never know who hasn't heard of something, right? We should never assume, and this is great advice for just making YouTube videos as well. You should never assume that your information is run-of-the-mill, because there will always be at least one person who hasn't heard it before. I'm not going to ask you to like and subscribe because I know you already have. As always, take what resonates and discard the rest.